Hello everyone, as always a warm welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well by God's grace. I am doing fantastic too. Thank you. So today I want to share with you this delicious egg and Agushi stew. It's so good and it's really nutritious. I tell you, you will love it. So stay with me, okay? But before I get into it, please like this video, share and subscribe if you haven't. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. And oh, there's also a bonus video at the end, so stay tuned to the end. So for starters, I have my Agushi seeds, okay, or melon seeds, whatever you call it, right? So what I'm going to do is to toast it a bit, okay? So I'm going to toast it until the color turns brown a bit, or it starts to inflate, okay, like this, as you see it here. Okay, when it starts to inflate here, that means that it is good to go, okay? And this will give you a very beautiful nutty taste, okay? So I pour it in water, okay, for it to cool down, and then wash it and soak it before I blend it. So I'm going to blend this very smoothly and nicely, which will add to our stew. So I put it into my blender jug, okay, and yes, I'll add a bit of water and then some salt. The reason I'm adding salt is if you don't add the salt to it, one, it helps it to coagulate, and two, it gives you a very nice taste. Otherwise, it is very bland. Okay, Agushi is very stubborn for, like, absorbing salt. That's from my experience. Okay, so nicely blended, and this is how it looks like. Really smooth. Look at how it looks like. Okay, so I'll set that aside and we'll continue with everything. So I have my onions, tomatoes, and then I have my B10. I also have my fish, which I've already fried, my chilies, and I have my eggs as well. Okay, so the chilies and the fresh ones are for garnishing. Okay, so I add some vegetable oil to my frying pan or my pot and add in my onions. Okay, so I'm going to fry it for about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, then I'll add my chili flakes. Okay, you can use any kind of chili that you want. Okay, I just chose chili flakes because I love the taste of chili flakes. Anyway, so there goes in my tomatoes, okay, my fresh tomatoes, okay. And just to also say that I added in some tin tomatoes. I don't mean tomato paste or tomato puree, but preserved tomatoes in a tin. I added in later, which I didn't have a video. I don't have a video of it. I didn't show. So yeah, so you can add a bit more of that just to give it a very good color. Otherwise, it will be pale, a bit pale, okay, unless your tomatoes is super fresh, okay. So my B10 has now gone in, and I'm going to give it a stir. B10 is so good, so delicious. That's all you need for your stew, I tell you. It's got almost everything in there, right? It's got the key points there that will help you. So I added some water to loosen things up, and I'm going to cover it for it to steam, okay? So it will be on there for between 8 to 10 minutes, right? I go in to stir it, okay? Make sure that the B10 has melted nicely. Stir it, it goes everywhere. And then I'm going to add in my Agushi. But before then, I needed to boost the taste. So I added some with the abakra friend is calabash nutmeg, ground calabash nutmeg, and I also added cardamom, okay, ground cardamom, right? Okay, tasted it, and I thought it needed a bit of salt. So let me speak to you about the salt here, okay? Be careful of the salt. So if you realize I've added some salt to the Agushi, and I added a bit more salt here, right? I'm also going to add some more salt to the eggs, okay? So to the eggs, I also added some vegetable bouillons and some black pepper to give it a good taste, okay? So just the salt, make sure that this food is well seasoned, because the Agushi tends to sort of absorb a lot of salt from my experience, okay? So it looks good now, coagulated nicely, okay? And I've given a stir, so now goes in my egg, right? So you know that egg, it doesn't take long to cook, right? So that's why it goes in last, so to say, or so to speak, right? So it goes in, I give it a stir. What I was trying to get is for some of the egg to go under, to go at the bottom of the pot as well, so that it cooks quicker. All right. So yeah, I'll leave it for it to set and for it to cook, and I'll come back to add my fish. Okay. So for the fish, I'm going to bring a recipe of that fish. It is specially made. It's like fish fillet. It has got no bones in it. So basically, it's just red snappers, okay, that I filleted. Okay, so it's got no bones in it at all. I removed all the bones, and I also included some salmon. Okay, so this is proper salmon, not the Ghana mackerel we call salmon. This is the real salmon. Okay, was also fillets. I bought them like that. So yeah, I'm going to share that recipe with you very soon. Okay, so I added it to my stew and gave it a stir, and this is where I added the extra tomatoes. Remember earlier on I said I added, so if you can see, look, you can see the stew was like a pain. It wasn't coming together, so I added some or more tomatoes. I think what I did was I cooked it on the side and then added it for it to look more stewy, a bit more, moisture to come into the stew. I hope you understand me. Okay. Sometimes when I'm cooking, I make mistakes and I correct them, right? But this time I couldn't capture it. But I've told you what the mistake was, and you don't have to make that mistake, right? So this is done. It was so good, right? But then I have a bonus, right? A bonus at the end, right? So after we ate this food, we ate it for about 2 days, and then there was some left, but now full. So I was like, nobody's ever going to eat this. If I keep it in the freezer, I bet you pro. So I decided to improvise with this stew. Okay. So the improvisation is what you are going to see in a minute, right? So the stew went down really, really well. Okay. So I got another saucepan about 3 days later, right, and chopped some onions, added it to some hot oil, red oil. I added some momoni. So I changed the stew from posh, nice flavor stew into local, just a contemporary stew. So I added tomatoes, chopped tomatoes. So this is one of these is what I added to the stew earlier that I was talking about. So once I added the tomatoes, I added my kale leaves. Okay, so if you're in Ghana, you just use your contemporary. Easy. But usually when I'm doing this without contemporary, I use kale and then spinach. Of course, spinach will go in last because spinach is quite soft. So what they call maybe soft. So I added the rest of the stew that was left. So it became contemporary for you. And I was saying, so this is just a bonus recipe. I added my spinach to it, gave it a stir, and it was ready. I hope you really enjoyed these 2 recipes. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you give this a try. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.